This is a game called Thunderbird Strike. It is an independent game made by a few college artists, I believe, and Twitch actually is not even letting me change the name because it's so obscure. Okay, I think that's as up-to-date as I can make the channel info. So anyway, this is Thunderbird Strike, and you will notice that it only plays sound when I actually have the window focused. You may have also seen during the boot sequence there that it is a Unity-free game. It is not the most professionally developed game in the world because, again, developed by college students. And it is developed specifically for bringing political awareness to a cause, which is always nice to see in games, so I think it's good to feature that. And much of the game is based around external text that you get from the game's website. See if I can verify the link to that here. Just thunderbirdstrike.com is the website. And this more or less functions as the game's manual and backstory. And you'll see here that the art has kind of this American native style to it. And we get the backstory that we are defending the Central Plains of North America from an evil snake that summons bulldozers and dump trucks at you. That is basically the manual there. You'll see that again once I actually start playing the game. And the credits for the game. Relatively small team, so always nice to see people developing things independently. And this was in the news a little while ago because some Republican lawmakers got wind of the fact that a game like this was being partly funded by federal grants, and they argue that in some ways it advocates eco-terrorism, because you take the role of these Thunderbirds, mythological beings that return to defend the lands when they are endangered. And in this case, they do so by destroying oil pipelines and the machinery that builds oil pipelines. A lot of the mythology and backstory involved is given on the game's website, so I encourage anyone watching this to visit that website and read the external information as necessary to experience the game fully. I'm just trying to briefly feature it on here, but I'm not going to go through every piece here, but there's a lot of information about what the cause this is advocating is and how one can participate if one is so inclined. Anyway, Republican lawmakers, as they do, complained that the government is funding a game that promotes eco-terrorism, which it probably is not. But I find it an interesting question, what exactly would constitute eco-terrorism in a game if it did indeed advocate such a thing, and play this game and see how close it might actually get. My guess is not very. We'll see. And also just see how effectively a game can be at political advocacy or environmental advocacy. You do actually need to use the mouse button here, by the way, to start the game. Beyond that, you can't use the mouse or a joystick or anything else to play. The controls are entirely WASD or arrow keys and spacebar. As far as I can tell, the authors just used Unity default controls, which kind of half support joystick controls, but not entirely. But here's our in-game backstory, such as it is. And we learn about how bad the oil industry is. And I'm not sure if that's meant to be a sacred symbol inside all these animals that's shared by the Thunderbird or what. There may be some artistic backstory behind that I'm not aware of. Anyway, here's the actual gameplay. The idea is that you, as the Thunderbird, have to gather lightning from the clouds and then unleash it upon this machinery. and the Mortal Kombat style voiceovers seem kind of out of place in the style of the game. But it is what it is. I will certainly say that the art style of the game is absolutely beautiful, very effective. Another thing you can do is summon zombie caribou, I guess.
Fatal Strike. Fatal Strike.
And there's no score display or anything, so I'm not sure what I'm trying to achieve here besides just destroying everything in my path. Which I guess sometimes that's what video games are about. But I do think this native art style is really effective in the context of a video game. Okay, those I can activate too, I guess. Still not sure what that does for me. But it's very flat, static, iconographic art, which is also kind of what classical sprite graphics in video games were, so it's a combination that makes a lot of sense, I think, and I would love to see more things done in this style. That lightning also looks really good. I think it's probably pre-rendered. Looking at it closely, it looks like there are only a few shapes of lightning bolts there. Okay, I'm moving on to oil refineries now.
Fatal Strike.
I guess I destroyed enough bulldozers that I can start destroying oil refineries. Missed that one. Not enough lightning. Can I lightning? Thank you.
Fatal Strike. Gather lightning. Gather lightning.
Yes, I am gathering lightning. Thank you. Gathering lightning as quick as I can. Disembodied narrator person.
Gather lightning.
I noticed.
Fatal Strike.
There's not very clear communication of how much lightning you have gathered. Does that voice clip means that I am fully lightninged? Or what?
Fatal Strike.
Oh, can we bring Buffalo back to life now? Hooray!
Gather lightning.
My army of zombie buffalo will bring down the oil barons.
Fatal Strike.
We still have lightning? Doesn't look like it.
Gather lightning.
It seems like the game... Oh, okay, we finished a level.
Hola!
Going to assume that was a native word that I'm not familiar with and not the actual Mexican word hola, because that would make no sense. Okay. So now we learned that loggers are bad, but Bird Woman's going to help us all. Because the spirit of the Thunderbird is in all of us. Absolutely. And that's why tornadoes happen? Okay, what am I doing now?
Gather lightning.
Oh, I'm using the wrong keys. I am not fond of using ADSF. I always use I am not fond of ADSF. I use WASD any chance I can. And I guess I could have remapped that if I'd wanted to, but...
Fatal strike.
So wait, did I just destroy those protesters and gather their power?
Gather lightning.
Destroying bundled logs that are already cut down seems a bit...
Electrify.
Okay, so if I combo, I summon a tornado. So what's going on with the protesters?
Gather lightning.
Okay, I don't destroy the protesters, I pick them up and absorb their power.
Electrify. Gather lightning.
Oh, those aren't felled trees, those are actually sections of the pipeline that I'm destroying. So, fair enough. What can I do with you? I don't know.
Fatal strike. Fatal strike. Electrify. Fatal strike. Active fatal strike.
Okay, so I'm activating the big people. The game is not terribly clear at communicating when you're being inaccurate in what you're trying to do, or when you're just trying to do the wrong thing.
Fatal strike. Gather lightning.
It's interesting they didn't actually use an obviously native language for the Mortal Kombat voiceovers.
Lightning. Gather lightning.
Wow, I'm not doing very well at all here for some reason. My lightning bolts are doing nothing.
Fatal strike.
It's also kind of
Gather lightning.
unpredictable how many lightning strikes it actually takes to destroy any one object. Like, I would imagine the big piles of pipeline would be harder to destroy than the individual pipeline segments, but sometimes that doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, I probably didn't do very well with that one.
Hola!
That the pipeline is continuing to grow anyway? Is that the plot we're seeing here? If you read the backstory specifically, there is a section of pipeline in one of the Great Lakes that the author or the designer mainly intended to focus efforts on with this game. And from the bit of background reading I did, it sounds like that particular section is a really old, corroded pipeline that's considered by a number of experts to be in serious danger of a leak. So what are we doing now? Are we gathering coconuts?
Gather lightning.
That would make no sense. Oh no, it's the actual pipeline! We have to fight it! Oh, we weren't gathering things, we were trying to avoid the pipeline's evil breath. So do I have to be above you to strike you? Do I have a health meter?
Electrify.
Okay, I see you leaking. Isn't that exactly what we're trying to avoid, though? We are literally beating up the pipeline and making it leak into the Great Lakes here. Well, I guess it's not leaking in response to anything I'm doing, it's just randomly leaking for flavor. I cannot tell if anything I'm doing is having an effect on it or not. Are those leaky spots supposed to be signifying a weak spot that I'm aiming for? Aha, there it is.
Gather lightning.
So we are finding existing leaks and making them worse, and by doing so, saving the Great Lakes. Got it. Now, I will admit that despite my initial skepticism that a game of this quality is anything resembling eco-terrorism, it feels pretty weird to me to be saying things like, yeah, we destroyed the bulldozers, we destroyed the pipeline segments. If one were to play a game like this extensively, it would certainly get one used to the idea that objects like that are valid military targets, I suppose. Which, to the extent that video games do affect people psychologically or philosophically, is really what they do. Yeah, we made it leak even more! I'm not sure that's exactly the intent here. Is that happy music? It's unclear to me if this is a good or a bad thing. Okay, we replaced the oil pumps with windmills, and they killed a bird. Goody. Alright. Okay, I think this is happy music, perhaps even the ending already. Those are your credits? Really? Really? Okay, someone did not test their game in 800 by 600. At least I can read that. Also, bright orange text on bright blue. Not the best design choice. Alright, so I guess that was Thunderbird Strike. I thought I'd gotten the impression there was a little more to it besides 3 levels, but I guess that's it. Anyway, I think the main reason I would argue that a game like that is not actually eco-terrorism is because it's not training people to actually go out and blow up pipelines or anything like that. It is expressing basically a mythological prayer or intention that the divine spirit in everyone will inspire them to come together and put an end to oil pipelines through more polite means or something. And this is mainly just a way of dramatizing that wish and focusing energy and attention upon it. As compared to, for example, if the Islamic State actually put out a video game that gave you specific instructions as to how to target American buildings, gave you information that you could actually reasonably use to plan such attacks, that would be a game actually promoting eco-terrorism. It is not like anyone is going to play this game and get all kinds of information about where the oil pipelines are vulnerable and how to destroy them. Anyway, the point I was making earlier is that, yes, there are some old pipelines that are at great danger of risks, but that's kind of why we're building new pipelines, right? But that's also cause for protest. And yes, I guess you can argue that we shouldn't be needing oil pipelines at all because we should be using much better sources of energy, like bird-killing windmills, fair enough. But I don't know. Anyway, for a game that people did basically as a college project, I think it's adequate, and I do hope these people go on to make things further in the gaming industry as their careers progress, because I would love to see more things, at least with this art style and with this intention behind them. So, that's all I will do at this time with Thunderbird Strike.